if you found it difficult, I can understand because we don't do this very often. And in fact, during that national call, they broke us down into one-on-one, so just pairs of people on the phone call all over the place. And I talked with a guy in Denver, and we were a little bit outside the box with our thinking. But later on, I found that there were so many people who were kind of stuck on the Founding Fathers, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, or if you work hard, you can buy your home and get your kids educated. And that was about as far as it went. So it's difficult. The other thing I wanted to say was I've been studying the work of Rupert Sheldrake. Is anyone familiar with him? Rupert Sheldrake, he's a scientist from the United Kingdom. He's been studying kind of group mind, or when a lot of people dream together, what can happen. Because a lot of people don't believe there's anything real to it. There's no substance to it. A lot of the scientific community believes that. But he has done 40 years of experiments that prove that repeated experiments over and over, that when a lot of people think on the same thing, it affects everybody. Some of his famous experiments were when the London Sunday Times comes out. He tested people on how they could solve the puzzle, the crossword puzzle, and in the first couple hours, people had extreme difficulty. A day later, when people tried solving it, it was much easier. Another experiment, he had, you pick 4 friends, and then one of those friends at random would call you on your cell phone, and you were supposed to guess who it is. Well, science would say 1 out of 4 times you're going to get it right. Over and over and over again, 40% of the people got it right. 40% of the time they're right. And that's so it's real. And that's why, one of the reasons why I'm so excited about what we're doing, because by us kind of breaking through, even this might be a little difficult, it's going to make it easier next month for people to vision this. It's going to keep moving. That's what I wanted to say. But yeah, we should just go around. Charlotte, you're going to record it so no one has to take notes. You want to start now?
I don't think I did it right, because I did basically the same thing we had done when we went around a while ago.
No, that's fine.
And I wrote this one sentence, and it's not even a sentence, it's a blob. And then I looked around and everybody was writing. And so, you know, I just said that peace, sustainability, medical care, and education are all necessary parts of the picture. But I don't think I did this right, because what was everybody doing all that time that I wasn't doing?
No, you did the summary version. That's perfectly right.
Okay. Because all of those things I see as being connected. You have to have them all. You can't have just some of them.
That's good. Thanks.
So I get to the second. All right. Well, what I wrote down first was the word hope. Okay, so that's what I've been thinking a lot about lately. And first of all, my background, I'm a nurse. I work at the medical center, and so my background is actually both education and healthcare, which is why I said healthcare and education when you asked me. But to me, that all is kind of focused on the concept of hope. The reason that I say that is because what we see in Mississippi and what we're seeing more and more, I think, in this country is there's this huge disparity, as someone else said, between the rich and the poor, and that's just growing, and it's obviously getting worse and worse in Mississippi. What that all boils down to me is the issue of hope and the possibility of people moving from where they are right now to somewhere else. And I am confident, I'm quite sure that many people actually don't even know what hope is. Where they live and in the place where they live, in the way that they have lived, where their families have lived for a long time, is the same year after year. And the concept about hope, I don't think exists. You go through the same patterns, and I'm telling you that in healthcare, you see some really bad patterns that you think that we as a society can do so much better for people, and we should be committed to that. And I think that is through education and health, that once people have that foundation and they can see the world maybe in a different way, they have the possibility of hope. But I think largely right now we are falling into a place where that is absent.
Thanks.
Well, I'm going to turn my cell phone off. Just got a text message. But what I wrote, and I took the American dream, I guess, to the extreme point. But I want the American dream to be where kids grow up asking, what can I do to help? Instead of, how can I get out of this? Or how can I get rich? It would be where prosperity is a given. And nobody, especially children, have to ask where, or have to wonder where their next meal is coming from, or where they will sleep that night. I want to see fear eliminated, because fear is the root of hate and intolerance and violence. I want education to be real and honest and sufficient for everybody. And the last thing I wrote was, we need financial education in high school today. A financial course to say, hey, this is how you manage money, stay out of debt, and don't ruin your life. But the elimination of fear, I think, would be one of the biggest things. Because the fear of, I'm not going to have enough to eat, the fear of, I'm going to lose my house, the fear of, loss is what drives a lot of the racism, the intolerance, everything else, is because I fear somebody is going to take something away from me. And I want that to be eliminated.
Okay. Well, I'm one of those people who might talk a lot, so I'm going to just start with keywords. And I went back to the freedom, justice, and equality that I also added. I want the American dream to reflect a sense of responsibility. I want the American dream to also reflect things that have been also talked about already: education, home, health, and the recognition of our shared core values. Because I think when we recognize our shared core values, we eliminate the fear that was just mentioned. And also, I want the American dream to recognize the importance of our environment and the need to move towards sustainability with regards to our environment.
I kind of used to look at kind of talk in circles with you ago. There's so many great visions and visionaries that have been here. What I really hope for the American dream is to all of this compassion and care and supportiveness, and then incorporate all things, our air and our water and our people, our place, the whole thing, the health, the education, the no fear, everything that really brings up the best in all of us so that we can kind of use our best that we have to do something out here, is to be able to bring the methods or the tangible ways with the visionary vision and stuff, to bring it into form. How do we do these wonderful visions? How do we make it happen? That's what really just gave me and not a system as old system, break it down, but how to take this new system and pull it in and make it happen. Those visions.
Okay. That was strange when he was talking about fear, because that was the first thing I wrote was, we're not sure we can ask this question before we get through the night. Fear of anyone with a different set of beliefs or values, and it kind of covers the environment and education and everything else. Because people shut down when they're afraid. Humans are capable basically of two emotions, fear and love. You scratch anything you do on the good end, you're going to hit love, and you scratch anything on the negative end, and you will find fear. And I think you've got to work through that through communication, through education, and through just trying to reach out and find common ground. That would be a starting place, but as far as the dream, it would be the recognizing of the common adage, everybody and everything does better, when everybody and everything does better. That you don't have to be afraid that if I get this, then, well, if I let this go, then somebody else is going to get it, and I will never get it again. I won't ever be okay. And that leads to the inequalities in economics and education, and people start being afraid that, okay, well, or just the basic fears of, I'm not going to have enough to eat. You know, that makes you pretty defensive, and I don't know if you've ever tried to deal with very defensive people, but they can be extremely difficult to reach and help, for that matter. They don't even want to accept they don't even want to recognize that they need the help they do need, because it makes it even, their situation seem even worse. So the American dream, we can get through that. You know, no more fear, be comfortable, be happy. Everything's going to be fine. We've got plenty on this planet if everybody just share a little bit more. And that's about it. Now we can go to he still wants to just be a dispassionate observer.
I took prosperity as a given too, that we need to reestablish prosperity, especially in the middle class, where we need to reestablish a normal curve and don't have so many people at the lower end. I think in terms of the environment, we're going to have greater challenges than we even yet had. And we're going to have to adjust as a people, and hopefully in a green manner. Because I think we're going to be fighting the environment from now on. It's not something that's going to just go away.
I wish our country would take a leadership role in protecting the environment, promoting world peace and justice for all, and ending poverty and hunger. I would dream that we eliminate the use of fossil fuels. And this one I saw on the bumper sticker, and it's not worded as well as the bumper sticker was, but a nation can prosper when it cannot prosper when it takes care only of the prosperous.
The main need of this country is for Main Street to feel a sense of empowerment. Wall Street feels an empowerment. The reason we have fear is based on a lack of empowerment. So the key is, how do we empower people? And we do that by having people get in touch with themselves, getting a sense of strength. It's easier for some, for others. And once we realize this, we'll be able to deal the power of the few today that's used against the many. We can switch that around. We can have the power of the many that will work with the few, and either the few cooperate and work together, or the few will have to lose their power, because we're in a situation now where we have a handful of people basically controlling the country, controlling the world. And they're preying on fear. Fear disempowers. It's an expression of disempowerment. And because we have so many people who are frightened, they can easily be manipulated by others. So we've got to break that syndrome. And of course, a number of great thinkers and political figures have said that power yields nothing, only when you have power, the countervailing power to challenge you, will power yield anything at all. Frederick Douglass put it beautifully, in his exact words, that power has never given up anything and never will. So it's a question of people becoming empowerment and are creating a more cooperative and sharing society.
Well, I've had trouble with the exercise being called an American dream, because most of my dreams are for humanity. And I have a hard time treating an American different than a Canadian or a New Zealander or a Swahili person. So it's so my dreams are really for humanity, I think. And the part that I'm really trying to connect with is that I don't want my dream to be out in the future or at some other place. I want my dream to be connected to right here in this meeting, right today, and some ways in which I see that connecting is our heart space, my heart space. Am I in a loving heart space, or have I got some fears going on that are controlling my thoughts and behaviors? And I have a lot of faith or hope that if I keep myself in a caring and loving space, the thoughts and actions that come out of me are going to be the future I want to have happen. And they're going to create the relationships that I want to see happen. So, so I'm trying, not changing our habits with, how much fear we experience and stuff is not an easy thing. It's just a daily, moment to moment, looking, taking inventory and seeing what's possible. There's another part that I have a habit of taking this exercise into my head and coming up with all these ideas and concepts and stuff. And when I do that, it kind of quiets my heart, puts it in a box that I can't feel it. So I'm trying to think with my heart, try to feel what I want to have happen and let the thoughts organize around it, which is not my ordinary habit, so that's hard. I envision the future having real strong communities, a lot of people knowing each other and caring about each other, and that evolving into healthcare taken as a universal right. Because we care that much about each other, we're not going to let anyone slip through the cracks. And that same kind of caring gets expressed to the environment, where we want the environment to be healthy for everybody, even children, generations in the future. So that caring creates the whole environmental policies of how we take care of the earth. That's mainly it. Miss Charlotte, let me have the camera.
No, you can read mine.
Read yours?
Mhm. It makes it hard.
Charlotte wrote...
Wait, I don't really want you to read mine, but you can.
Charlotte wrote, "There are no borders. All people and earth are connected. Work together to create a world where no one is hungry, without shelter, without health care, where renewal of the earth and humanity is a primary force."